Nothing. No words or pictures or imaginings will ever prepare you for the drama, the raging beauty, and the perfection of a sunset at sea. We're sailing from the idyllic Maldives in the middle of the Indian Ocean to Djibouti in East Africa.
This is us. This is what we do. And this is where we've done it so far. We've been at play in the Maldives for nearly a month. It has wonderful to rest and look around these islands, to see how both the Maldivians and the tourists that do so much for their economy both spend their time. It has been expensive to be here. The economy is very much ruled by the US dollar, and anywhere that occurs, prices seem to rise steeply. It's hard to move on from this natural beauty and such a comfortable climate, but we cannot stay. The seasonal winds has a schedule, and it is time that we caught the friendly winds that are starting to blow, and went west towards Europe and the northern summer.
This is the passage that tends to make all yacht people tense. We've got to get from where we are in the middle of the Indian Ocean to the Mediterranean. And there are two choices. One is really, really long and hard, and the other one is potentially a little bit dangerous. So, let's have a look at the alternatives.
The first has been the norm for very many years now, and that involves sailing directly from the Maldives, which is the red dot here, across towards the Seychelles, then through the Straits of Madagascar, down to South Africa, around South Africa and the Cape of Good Hope, up to the island of St. Helena, and from there you go to Ascension Island, and the winds and currents will then sweep you directly west across the Atlantic to the Caribbean. And then you need to wait in the Caribbean until the winds change, and then you can go east about across the Atlantic back to the Mediterranean. It's a long way. The second one, on paper, is very straightforward and quite simple. Sail up towards the Horn of Africa, down the Gulf of Aden, up the Red Sea, through the Suez Canal until you pop out into the Mediterranean. But there is an issue.
And here is the issue. This country, Somalia, this country, Yemen. Both of them have unstable political systems, and law and order is not one of the high priorities in those countries. As a consequence, for many years, individual pirate teams have been moving out from Somalia and attacking shipping and occasionally yachts as well. There has been a lot of work done by security forces in this area for a number of years now, and the result has been that there's been no attacks for at least a year that I can think of. So it's starting to look much better. It still has attendant risks, and you must be careful, but that's the route that we're choosing. On Monday morning at a gentlemanly hour, we raise the main, pick up our anchor, and join a small flotilla heading west towards Africa and the Middle East.
Across the Maldives flag. Thank you, Maldives, for a lovely little time. So, end of day one at sea. We left the Maldives early again this morning, about 10:30. Got held up by a bit of uncharacteristic rain, which delayed us a little bit. Since then, we've been heading more or less on the ley line to Socotra, but it's 60 degrees and it's light wind between 7 and 11 knots, which is absolutely what our boat doesn't want. We're in a group of 5 boats altogether, and we're at the moment the very slowest one.
Well, the last one.
Yeah, that's not ideal, but it's a lovely night, and the conditions are very easy. I mean, we're just sitting here on the side deck now, and you can see it's not really bumping, and there's not that much wind.
Yeah, the water almost flat. It's very comfortable.
Yeah, So it looks like it's going to be a fairly easy night. It would just be nice if the breeze moved that way about 30 degrees, and then we would have a very ideal little bit of sailing. But as it is, we got what we got. So we'll see how we go.
Hopefully we can catch up our buddy boats.
Yeah, they're all in front of us. We did catch a tuna though, little skipjack tuna. That was some reward, some compensation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
All right.
Onwards.
And so we sailed into the sunset, which in turn became a sunrise. After sunrise, it's day 2 in the morning. We have coffee together.
We are having coffee together. I've not long woken up from my sleep, from her shift, and this is what we do.
Wind's still very light.
The wind sucks. Wind is 40 degrees now at about 11 knots, and that's rotten for us.
Yeah. Hopefully today, later on can get better. We are so slow.
Yeah, we have to have an engine on low revs, and even then we're doing, I don't know, 5 knots, which is pathetic. But this is just the worst angle. If you want to pick a bad angle for this particular boat, we're on it now. Every morning, you've got a task to do, and that is to get rid of the poor old flying fish that found their way on board overnight. And this morning, I guess because we were going so fast last night, we can see 6. That's the ones we can see. There's 3 there. There's number 6. There is sneaky number 7. 7 flying fish, never seen that many.
It's our dinner tonight. It's a beef lasagna. It's a very surprise. We have a lasagna on board, and it's just fresh. We made ourselves. It's the captain making. It's very nice. Yum. Today is day 5. This morning we put the spinnaker on. It's nice weather and the sea is very calm. Hopefully we can have a nice sailing today.
You've just caught me finishing up putting the spinnaker away. Had a lovely spinnaker run this morning for, what is that, 6 hours? And that's got us around about 50 miles nearly. So a pretty good fast run.
We don't want to separate with our group, so
Yeah,
we have to put down
Yeah.
to make our speed slowly.
We've got a little bit too far in front of our buddy boats by a few miles, so we better slow down now. And see if we can get the group to come back together a bit. But that was fun. Had a good time.
Yeah.
Very enjoyable.
Today is day 7. Oh no, it's day 6, is
It
it?
is day 6. It's the 6th day.
Yeah.
Happy. I won't say. Those people who like sad days, you know who you are. That's that.
Okay.
Away, we're done.
If we don't see each other in Djibouti, we say goodbye to you.
Late afternoon on the 8th day. The wind is dropping, but it's still quite nice out here. We've had a spinnaker run from sun up, and it looks like we'll hold it till sundown, and then we'll douse it, of course, for safety reasons. And we've been going fast and slow, and it looks like we're going to lose the wind for a day or two, but we're getting closer to our destination, so that's not a bad thing. We can afford to motor for a little while. But it's really nice to be out here on the sea. It's very peaceful, apart from the thing bashing me in the head. And we're looking forward to where we might end up in Djibouti and talking about the things that we might do there. So it's getting quite exciting. Good contemplation.
Enjoy your cigar.
Thank you very much.
Today is day 9 on the sea, and the weather is great, and the sea is calm, but the wind is died, but I just wash my hair, have a shower, and waiting for our group, the Zoom meeting on the VHF. Every day, 4 o'clock, we have a group talking. That is a part of our journey. The time.
My friend the wind.
My friend.
Good afternoon, sailors. It's 4 o'clock, time for our daily radio net. Let's see who is listening. Libby, are you there? Yes, Libby's here. Alright, CathayOz, are you listening?
CathayOz is here.
Hi, Jackie. Ikino. You. So, let's start with the net. Are there any urgent messages today being heard? Then I would like to know how everybody's day was, starting with CathayOz.
Yeah, our day is good. It's very calm, nice, and we put spinnaker on in the morning.
Yeah, I saw you fly past us this morning. Looks very good. And so, Ikino, how was your day? Excellent. Easy sailing, and yeah, I hope so. A little bit more wind, but it's good. Over. Let's continue with comments on sailing as a group. Does anybody have any?
Day 12. We're currently between Socotra and Djibouti. Somalia is all over there. Yemen is on the other side. It's time for us to get serious because now we're entering what's designated as a high-risk area. This area extends all the way south along the coast of Somalia, but for our purposes includes the Gulf of Aden. And this is the area that we have to pass through, and we've got to do it the safest way that we can. If we zoom in on this part of the map here, we can see the beginning of what's known as the internationally recognised transit corridor. And this corridor has been established to concentrate all of the vessels that are passing east and west through the Gulf of Aden, and so they can be monitored and protected as best as the security forces can. There's a good thing with this transit corridor in the Horn of Africa, and that is, as you can see the purple stripe down the middle of the screen there, that's like a median lane that separates the two lanes eastbound and westbound, and it's there to give a bit of space to those ships, but it's also a very convenient place for yachts to travel. Only about 2 miles wide, so you've got to do a fair bit of work to stay out of each other's road if there's more than one of you, and
you're doing a lot of jibing running downwind, but it saves having to plan how to get through that absolute miasma of shipping there. I think there's like a dozen on that screen that can be seen right there. Now normally we'd have to be ducking and weaving, but because they're separated and we're in the middle, we can just plough straight on through. I like good systems. This is a good system.
There was plenty of wind in the Gulf of Aden, and we made this transit in just 4 days. Here, the captain is hard at work, planning. Another yummy dinner, mac and cheese with lamb chops. Good morning. Today is day 13 on the sea, and the wind is rising up about 17 knots, and the gust about 20. And the boat is going very nicely, about 7 knots. On that side, about 100 miles to Somalia, and the other side about 60 miles to Yemen. Now we are sailing in the international recommended transit corridor, and we feel safe, hopefully.
300 miles here.
And so far, we have 300 nautical miles to our destination, Djibouti.
So now we have to get out of this internationally recognised transit corridor, and because it's so busy with ships coming along here all the time, you try to pick your moment. So what we've done is exactly the point where we want to leave, which is where it bends. We have to leave on a perpendicular line, so 90 degrees to the corridor itself. We've got a nice reaching breeze, plus we've got some engine on, so we're doing about 8 knots, which will help us to get across that 3 miles or so, 4 miles very quickly. And at this moment we've only got one threat, and if we look at that threat, we're going to be in front of it by about 1.6 miles in 21 minutes, so we should clear them with a reasonable amount of comfort there. If anything changes, of course, I can always turn to go around the back of that boat. Hopefully it all works out well, we get out the other end and we can slow down again. Well, here we are, 15th day, and we're about 35 miles from Djibouti, which is the destination for this voyage. It's been a pretty good one, I have to say. We've had a very comfortable time of it. You enjoyed it?
Yes. The weather is pretty nice, and most time the wind is behind us, and very comfortable trip.
So it's been good. We've still got calm seas at the moment to take us into Djibouti. Hopefully we're there by about 2 o'clock this afternoon, and then we can relax, have a nice meal and a glass of wine, and reflect on the longest time we've been at sea for sure. Anyway. Well, you certainly know that you've reached Djibouti. Foreign warships are littering the docks everywhere, and there are go teams practicing water assaults just near the anchorage. At last, after 14 days and 2,000 miles, CathayOz is at rest. We'll be back next time as we get our first taste of the continent of Africa.